Hello students, today I am going to explain chapter 2nd of macroeconomics of class 12th economics. Okay, so the second chapter is some basic concept of macroeconomics. In this chapter, we will discuss about some basic terminology, some wordings which are used in further chapters. So they are very important and essential to understand. So first of all, we will discuss this chapter in 4 to 5 parts because it is a lengthy one. So first I will tell you about the classification of goods. So it will be a part first of this chapter, and I will make the 3 to 4 videos on this same chapter because it is a lengthy chapter. So first of all, we will discuss about classification of goods. So how goods can be classified in economics. There are many ways on which you can classify, or you can on which you can categorize the basis of goods and types of goods. But in economics, there are certain criteria on which we have to classify the goods. First of all, in general, good can be classified in many ways as per their uses, but broadly in economics, goods are classified in two ways: final consumption and intermediate goods. Here you can see on screen. First type of good is final goods or intermediate goods. Okay, so first we will discuss about final good. What are the final goods? So here you can see on screen, computer screen, final goods. These are those goods which have crossed the boundary line of production. So we can say that these are those type of goods which crosses the factory and reaches the retail shop, from which you can purchase them and can use them directly. These good I'll repeat once again. These are those goods which have crossed the boundary line of production and are ready for use by their final users. Who are their final users? They are of two types: first, final consumer, and second is final producers. Now again, there is a series of question arises. You may ask her, what are the difference between final consumer and final producers? They both are the different now. The factor here is that the final consumer good may be categorized as final consumer good and final producer goods. Yes, here you can say in this a focus zone box, final consumer goods. These are those goods which are ready for use by final consumer for their consumption. These are those goods which you use in your daily life, like pen, tea, coffee. They are readily available for final consumption. And final producer goods, what are the final producer goods? These are those goods which are ready for use by the producers for their final uses. These are those goods which are used by producers for their use, like tractor and harvester. We know that tractor, if a farmer purchases a tractor for once, then he will uses this machinery and this tractor for several years. So he is the final consumer, but he uses these goods for further production. So this is a final producer goods, because here the farmer who is the purchaser of this tractor is his final final consumer in this situation. So now, to consume final goods, one have to spend money on it. We know that money is called consumption expenditure, because if any person goes to the market and purchase something for his consumption, then all the money which he consumes or which he spend on the purchase is regarded as a final consumption expenditure. Secondly, we will discuss about the another type of good, that is intermediate goods. Okay, so let's get started. Intermediate goods, so students, these are those goods which have not crossed the boundary line of production. Means, how can you say that? What are now a confusion got arose here? What are the what it means? These are those types of goods which are further will be used for production process, and after that production activity they will be sold in market. Like suppose for example a carpenter purchases, yeah, here we go. Suppose, for example, a carpenter purchases a wood for making chair, and cloth is purchased by a tailor for making shirts. All the above are examples of intermediate goods. Now, the cost of these goods are included in final price, so that cost of intermediate goods will never be added in the estimation of national income because final prices already have been taken. So, intermediate goods are those goods which are produced in a factory and now it will send to another producer's factory for their production process. Suppose, for example, all the teachers are used to teach on whiteboard and they use black marker or blue marker for their tutorial purpose. So, the marker making company is of cello, and another the another company who produces the refill, and then cello company purchases that refill and place them inside the marker and sold them in the market. So that will be the example of intermediate goods. Now, an important question arose here is that it is important that a good can be named as final good or intermediate good at the same time. The difference of both the good may be depend on their end use. Who uses the goods, that will categorize the distinction between the final good or intermediate good. If a good is used for satisfying final want, then it can be termed as final use goods, and if a good uses for further production process, it will be termed as intermediate goods. So these are the two type of goods. If anyone purchases a good for his final consumption, like we used to purchase pen, we used to purchase milk, we used to purchase bread, we all used to purchase them for satisfying our final wants. But if we purchase Mm, if a producer purchase like a Maruti Suzuki company used to produce car in his factory. Now, after making the car, Maruti Suzuki doesn't know how to make battery of the car. Then he will go to the Exide and he will go to the Amron and purchases the battery and used it in his in their production process. They purchase the battery and put them in car, and final output of car is sold in the market. Then intermediate good of Maruti Suzuki company will be the battery which they purchase from Exide or Amron company. Okay, so now students, another important point is that yes, consumption good or consumer good. So consumption good are those goods which are directly used for the satisfaction of human wants. Example, ice cream and milk are used by the household. Further, students, those goods may be classified into four heads. First is durable goods. These are those types of goods, students, which are used for several years. If we even if like if we purchase bike, if we purchase car, then we will use it year after year, na? Then that will be termed as durable goods. The second one is semi-durable goods. These are those types of good which can't be used over 1 year, or which we have to use in within a year. Okay, so what are the example? The example maybe as furniture, clothes, crockeries, electric goods. All these are examples of semi-durable goods which we have to use in a specific period, or maybe 1 year or slightly more than 1 year. After that, third one is non-durable or single use consumption goods. These are those goods which those goods which use in a single act of consumption. Like if you bought a pan or a bread or milk, then you will use it a single unit in a specific period of time. So all those goods are single use. Like if you buy petrol for your bike, then you will use it in a single unit, and that will and the petrol you will utilize in a single way. You can't separate one unit of petrol to another unit of petrol, because all the petrol you directly put in your tank of your vehicle, so you have to use that petrol in a single use. So that is called single non-durable or single use consumption goods. The fourth one is services. So services are those which directly satisfy human wants, like if we go to the doctor, and if we go to the lawyer, domestic servants, all these are, if we go to a restaurant, then we will provided there the services. So all those services are called just services. Now another one and most important one from economic point of view is capital good. So what are the capital goods? The students, now we will discuss about what are the capital goods. These are those types of goods which are used for further production process. Okay, these are, I will repeat once again, these are those types of goods which are used for further production process. If a factory owner purchases a machine, if if a person establish a cloth factory and produces the shirts, then he have to purchase some machinery for this, for his production process. Then that machinery will be termed as capital good, because that is used for further production process. If a farmer purchases a tractor, then the tractor will be termed as capital good, because it will he will a farmer will use this tractor for further production process, like cultivating and harvesting of his crops. And the another important thing of capital good, another their characteristics is, these are those types of goods which is used in production for several years, and also the value of these goods got reduced due to normal wear and tear. That is called depreciation. Yes, all the goods which we have discussed above are not applicable of depreciation, because capital, but only capital good are those types of good which are eligible for depreciation, because these are the goods which a person uses for a very long time, and the value of these types of goods reduced over year after year due to normal wear and tear and their normal wear and tear use. Okay, so here we have completed our first important point of this second chapter of economics, some basic concept of macroeconomics, which is classification of goods. And further, the second one is concept and component of consumption expenditure, concept and component of investment, and all these stock and flow concept will be I will be discussing in further videos. So for today it is over from my side. Okay, students, thank you.